Erik Seligman is the Washington County Republicans. It's an open candidate call coming up on Saturday. Now, you've been activated. I'm trying to make up words all night. I've been making up words. Activized. You like that? You've been activated to do something. You've been really energized. Energized. I like it. And to do something, to go beyond the tea parties, to really be motivated into making a change in your community. Well, what do? Well, you talk to Erik Seligman on Saturday at the BG Plaza. And Erik, welcome to the Victoria Taft Show. How you doing?
Great, thanks.
Tell me what you guys are doing.
Yeah, well, basically we're hosting an open candidate call, like you said, from 12 to 3 on Saturday. You can find the full details at rescueoregon.com. And what we're really focusing on is we're trying to get conservatives to run for local government positions, things like city councils and school boards. You know, every election cycle, a lot of these positions are just left on the table for left-wing activists to just take for themselves. And we need to change that.
How many people come out to these things?
Well, I've only been to one candidate call before. I guess we had like 30 or 40 people there.
And those are serious people. That's pretty good for serious people.
Yeah, and the most important thing, of course, isn't really how many people show up for the candidate call, but how many people actually run for office. Mm-hmm. Back in, I think the first candidate call they had was back in March, and that's actually when I got involved. And, we had a few people who showed up at that candidate call, including me, who hadn't really thought about running before. Because a lot of people have the idea that running for office is something where you have to know the right people or, already be the leader of your community to even think about. It's just not true. Ordinary people can file and run for these offices.
What kinds of offices are open, do you think, this 2010 and 2011?
Right. Well, in 2010, there's a lot of city council elections coming up. And city councils, of course, are really important. They control a lot of, land use and ultimately control whether or not you own your own property in a lot of cases. And then in 2011, we have a lot of the school boards coming up for election, and that's something I'm really concerned about. I actually just ran for a school board in May, lost by less than 1%.
Wow.
But and one of the reasons why I volunteered for this position of local candidate chair is because I think if I just done a few things differently, I could have gotten that last 1% and been on the school board now.
Wow. Are you going to run again?
I think I might have earned enough enemies in my run that it would be an impediment rather than a benefit for me to run a second time. But what I'm really hoping for is that in these kind of candidate calls, we can recruit people who share my views, and especially who will support charter schools, which is an absolutely critical thing for local school boards now. And if we can get pro-charter people into a lot of the school boards in the next set of elections, I think then I'll be really happy.
All I have to do is, they call themselves pro-choice in one respect, pro-school choice. Seems to me that'd be a shoo-in. The left should love that.
Yeah, it's funny, I was told during my run that school choice is now a code word used by the left to show that you're an evil, racist, sexist Republican. But, the truth is that, I actually spoke to a lot of people on the campaign trail, and a lot of people who call themselves liberal Democrats are actually very much in favor of charter schools.
Mm-hmm.
And just talk to people about the issues. You can actually get a lot of votes from people who aren't normally Republicans to support you for these kinds of local positions.
Well, and it's a lot of work, but it pays off, and you get to affect change, and we get people in office who will at least listen to us instead of these folks who just ignore us.
Yeah, and that's the most important thing. I mean, the thing is, the question is, what kind of people do you want sitting in these offices? And if your answer is, I want people like myself, then you should go ahead and run.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Erik Seligman, tell us the nuts and bolts of what happens on Saturday. Right.
Well, basically, we're going to have, everybody come in, and we're going to hear a few people who have experience with campaigning talk a little bit. There'll be some people who are sort of at the higher level, like State Senator Bruce Starr is going to be talking, former gubernatorial candidate Tom Cox, and then some people at lower levels, Cornelius, city councilman and former mayor Steve Heinrich, and then some school board people, Leanne Larson from the Beaverton School Board and Gene Pitts from the PCC board. sort of at the sort of lower levels, just to get the full spectrum of experiences in registering and running campaigns and showing that it is possible, at all levels, for good conservatives to run, even if they don't have much government experience before.
Sounds good. It's all happening at noon at BG Plaza, which is on Cedar Hills Boulevard, between Hall and, Hall and what?
Well, what I tell people is go to rescueoregon.com, cut and paste the address into Google Maps.
Okay, fair enough. Thanks a lot, Erik.
All right, thank you.
Appreciate it.